This is Blurring the Lines with Adam Bell and Peter Nicolaitis, IT entrepreneurs. Adam and Peter take on the topics of technology, business, life, and the pursuit of happiness and blur them together in the 21st century.
I really wanted to be using my new microphone for this. But good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. This is episode 113, and I am your host, Peter Nicolaitis. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Adam Bell.
Hey, Peter. You know, when I was putting together the outline, I saw that this was episode 113. It's too bad that our last episode that we recorded wasn't 113 on Friday the 13th. That would have been...
You know, we probably could have padded it just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we could have done that and no one would have noticed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't know how your last couple of weeks have been. Mine's been kind of interesting.
Yes, it has been very interesting. And for us in IT, I would say borderline hectic, if not even a stronger word. I mean, chaotic.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy for me. Now, I wouldn't say chaotic. I think things have been fairly controlled. Definitely did detect a little bit of a surge in work, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little bit of an upswing, an uptick, if you would.
Yeah.
And in case people have no idea what we're talking about the response to COVID-19 and the coronavirus.
Yes.
So yeah, I got a lot of requests for, hey, we need to suddenly work from home.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, I do my best not to get snippy when people all of a sudden are going crazy and demanding things that I've been telling them literally for years that they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Yeah. Well, and you're definitely right about that, because there are some of our clients that we've said we need to get this set up, and you know, and they didn't. There were those people. But then I've also got clients right now who people are working from home that they never had any intention or even thought that those people would be working from home.
Uh-huh.
And you know, so there's no way to prepare for that. But
well,
on top of the people that were unprepared that should have been prepared, it's adding up to a big pile of work.
Yeah. So I had one of my two largest clients actually, both, you know, said, hey, we need to ramp up. Well, one of them asked, can we do remote access? You know?
Well, yeah.
And I said, yes, you can. And as a matter of fact, you know, you don't even need to purchase any additional licensing because they have a fully licensed Sophos UTM, which includes VPN access out of the box.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's beyond our current scope of work. So we'll charge you for the labor to set it up. But besides that, you know, you're good to go.
Good.
The other one is there's a communications company. They somehow, you have used LogMeIn, correct?
Yes.
You remember back in the early days, they had a great free product.
Yes.
And then they added, you know, a paid option.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gradually made the paid options mandatory. And then they, like every year, just racked that price up every year. Just going up.
Yeah.
And somehow this client has flown under radar and still has access to their free version.
I don't even know how that's possible.
From like 10 years ago. They're not paying anything for LogMeIn, and they've got like 20 users. And I was like, good. I'm not saying anything, but you know, you just be prepared. You're going to be on the hook for thousands when they notice you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, even if they don't go backwards, they're going to, you know, 20 users or so like that. I think, I don't know how much that's going to cost these days because I stopped using it. I still use LogMeIn, but it's through one of the other providers that we use, which you use also too now because they acquired the provider that I was using. They both start with a CO.
Yeah.
They both start with C-O-N. So anyway,
They're cons.
they're cons. Both of them are. So yeah, so that was one of them. And then the other one was a manufacturer, and it was hilarious because only like 2 or 3 weeks ago, their main firewall, because they had not gotten around to buying a second one for failover in case there was a hardware failure, their main one died. We put in the request. We had them overnight expedited a replacement. They had it the next day. Luckily, they had their old Sonic wall kicking around, and for basic routing functionality, it was still good to go. So they were all set with that. I said, okay, fine. But I said, okay, so seriously though, what if, supply chain had been impacted for more than a day? What if, and then all of a sudden this COVID-19 thing hits.
Yeah.
And so suddenly they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe we do want to buy that secondary firewall. So we got that in place, and they've been doing their VPN access to remote desktop. But they all of a sudden need to buy more remote desktop licenses because last year they bought like 5. So then they bought 10. And then they bought 5 more. And then they realized when I pointed out to them, these are not concurrent licenses. These are total number of users or devices which are authorized to use that server. So, if you have 50 humans or 50 devices accessing this thing, you need 50 licenses. Not even if you only have 5 at a time.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's how this product is licensed. I mean, you don't have to like it. I don't make the rules. I'm just saying. So they had to start buying more licenses, and so there's been some fulfillment stuff there. But what was interesting is we came across a bug, and we don't know what the cause is just yet. But with one of my products, with the Sophos product, all of their infrastructure is now in an AWS cloud that we manage for them.
Right.
And so I told them that, you've got the licensing to set your VPN up. Well, problem is, for whatever reason, the UTM itself will not talk to the servers in the cloud. So their main firewall, which I was going to be using for authentication. So when you go to log into your VPN, you would say, hey, firewall, I'm Peter, this is my password. The firewall would then talk to the server and say, is this Peter? Is this his password? And the server would say yes. That part of the communication's breaking down. The firewall can't talk to the server. Now, what's weird is every system behind the firewall can talk to the server just fine, but the firewall itself won't. So,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
You're going to make a local domain controller and hybrid it, aren't you?
No. I flipped it around because there's no resources behind the firewall anymore that anyone needs. So all I did is I spun up a Debian Linux server, installed OpenVPN server on it, and dropped that right into the Amazon cloud.
There you go.
So it has local access to things, and boom, they're done. I was just like, that's it. We're done. I'm not going to even mess with it. Meanwhile, Sophos is still trying to figure out what's going on and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all right, but the urgency is down. Now, but anyway, it's working now, so I'm happy. But that was a little touch and go because they got the order. All of a sudden, they asked about it, and then the Vermont's governor said, everybody, you're shutting down. And Massachusetts, we led the way. So that order came out last week or so that essentially all non-essential businesses have to shut down, which they have now, and ordered pretty much. Well, we didn't get ordered to shelter in place. So Massachusetts governor did not order that. And as I suspected, it's because it's a civil rights thing. He doesn't believe that he has the authority to order people to not leave their homes.
Yeah, I don't think he has the authority. I don't think anybody has the authority, but they can make it, you should really do this, people.
They can take away the incentives to leave your home.
Yeah.
By closing all non-essential businesses.
Yeah, bars and entertainment play. That
has now happened. That's now happened in Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire. The 3 states that I have some kind of daily connection to.
So, fun fact, in Tennessee, we had the same things, but restaurants cannot do to-go alcohol.
Oh
Well,
no.
oh no. So, I mean, and as you know, I mean, you know enough about the restaurant business, the alcohol is really where you make the money.
That's right.
Um, so these businesses can provide curbside food, but they can't provide any alcohol.
Right.
They changed the rule. You can now get curbside alcohol. So your favorite Mexican restaurant, they'll also give you a gallon of margarita to go
One for
with
the
it.
road.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong? Oh, that's awesome. Because here, you know, what's funny is like our, well, I believe our liquor stores are considered essential services,
Yeah.
and grocery stores here can sell beer.
Mhm.
So we're good.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, we can get all the alcohol we want. Pet stores are still open. You know, so there's a lot of stuff that most people are not, I don't think, are seriously impacted this. They may be inconvenienced, but we can survive.
Yeah.
And so how about how's the shortage of supplies and groceries and household stuff in your area?
Uh, it varies. You know, it hasn't been. There have been the rural cities aren't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the non-Nashville. I mean, I don't have any equivalent. I don't know your area well enough to say a city like yours, but so that I've got Nashville, which is big, and then I've got suburbs of Nashville,
Yep.
and there's more supplies in the suburbs than there is in Nashville proper. But then when you get to the cities that are, you know, counties adjacent, those Krogers and things like that are much better stocked,
Mm-hmm.
because people aren't hoarding them as badly. Now, we're still having the toilet paper shortage, which is just ridiculous. The toilet paper is dumb, but the hand sanitizer is even dumber.
Uh-huh.
Because if I have all the hand sanitizer and you don't have any, you've got dirty hands. Actually, I would like you to have clean hands.
Have
and
some
me
hand sanitizer, or better yet, just use soap and water.
or soap and water. Yeah, whatever. But you know, to hoard stuff like that is short-sighted.
Yep.
Because
Oh,
you want
short-sighted? Really? People?
yeah.
No.
You know, it's not just about making a buck. I mean, I guess it is to them. They're about making a buck, but it's, you know, if you want everybody to be healthy, you want these healthy supplies available to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway.
Yeah, people don't think like that.
Yeah.
People don't think they're really short-sighted. I mean, and you know, like I said, those people you said, you know, clients who never thought anyone would have to work from home, right? They never thought it, right? It's because they never sat down and thought it through. And because frankly, it's easier to not do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, well, we so one thing that was interesting that New Hampshire's governor just put out their order yesterday. He ordered the shutdown until May. So
Wow.
like 6 weeks, and Massachusetts was 2 weeks. And you know, I said that's gonna, you know, it's gonna be longer than that. You know, I think 2 weeks is just the start, and I can't see this all blowing over in, you know, that short of time. But we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I thought that well, at least maybe I heard this or was optimistic about it. I thought once the weather moved from cold and dreary to warm and sunny, that the virus would be shorter lived as far
I,
as like getting
well,
on people.
I've heard that as a theory, but it's spreading like crazy in Australia. And last I checked, right now it's winter down there.
Well, no, the
But I mean, winter,
months.
like winter meaning hot. It's summer. Sorry, it's winter here, summer there.
Okay.
So I don't know about that. And Asia, you know, like South Korea, China, and stuff. I mean, they're always pretty warm. So I'm not sure, but I think that falls under the, you know, things that we theorize, but we don't know really, because this thing's still only like a couple months old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's all just, you know, supposition. But
So then, well, before we mentioned remote access, and
Mhm.
I don't want to wait till the Nifty on this. So I we negotiated at the 20 to buy a whole bunch of licenses of Trugrid for our clients so that we could get them cheap.
Mhm.
And so we got them. So what you know, a lot of the problems with the VPN is there just aren't enough computers because people didn't plan on these people working from home, so they don't have a computer for
Oh,
them.
right. I sold a bunch of computers too.
Yeah.
I was selling laptops, and boy, that was hard.
Yeah.
Because there was, not a lot of systems out there available.
Oh yeah, I've been buying computers. I've been buying brands that I would never buy.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
and I've been buying them from sources that I never buy from. Not that they're bad sources. I just don't choose them.
Yep.
Like like Newegg. Newegg is a perfectly legitimate business source. I'm not saying anything about them, but I don't use them because that's not my preference.
Right.
Well, I now have a Newegg account because they had some laptops.
Yep. Yeah.
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 So it's like I'm buying from whoever's got laptops, and I'm opening accounts with people, whoever I can get these laptops.
Yep.
So that was part of the problem for my clients is they didn't have computers, they couldn't get computers for them, or their employees have computers, but you can't trust the employees' computers, and it's a bad practice to put your employees' computers on your network for.
Do you get pushback from your customers, or when you tell them that, do they just like say, "Yeah, we don't care"?
Well, no, I really didn't. Because when I explained to them the risk that they were taking, uh, they either one acknowledged the risk and said they had to take it,
Yep.
but they didn't say they weren't concerned about it. They were
Well,
very.
accepting risk is one thing, but that's not the same as disregarding or ignoring the risk.
Yeah. So
You know?
my clients acknowledge the risk. So what I found with TrueGrid, it is like Log Me In, except it's a locked down version of Log Me In. So
Okay.
the user can only remotely access their computer. They can't send files back and forth. They can't do the
Right.
printing. They
Yep.
can't do all the full functionality that you can get in a Log Me In. But
Yep.
it actually uses a remote desktop protocol, so it's fast and it expand. It's not mirroring what's on their computer. It's doing the remote desktop scaling, which
Right.
is really nice.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's other stuff like that, like Bomgar and other
yeah.
hardware appliances that do this sort of thing as well.
Hmm.
Yep.
But
SecureLink is one that we used to do a similar thing at the hospital. That's their preferred remote access solution.
mhm.
Very
So if
simple.
our listeners are looking for an ability to be able to install on their, because then we could put this on home computers.
Yep.
It didn't matter if it was Pro, it didn't matter if it was home, it didn't matter if it was Mac. Now they did have to be up to date because there were some people had some old Macs and we just couldn't put it on them
Yep.
because it wasn't the supported version, because Mac is always in the business world. It's a lot. There can be complications, and in this case there was complications, like, well, if you don't meet these requirements, then it won't go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's a Mac? It doesn't matter. I mean,
Well, Macintosh is, like Windows, for instance, has, RDP, remote desktop, and, that's built into it, for instance.
mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for native operating system support, Mac doesn't have that. You have to, download and install a, Microsoft or a third-party client for something like that. So
Yeah. So I was happy with that find, and and we were able to roll it out pretty quickly, and it ties with Active Directory, which I really like.
mm-hmm.
So the users don't have to learn a separate password, and it enforces multi-factor authentication. You can't
Beautiful.
even get in it. So the first thing you do, you set your password, and then you set the multi-factor authentication before you can go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, most places that require MFA these days, that's what they'll do, which is good. Some of them will give you like a 14-day grace period, Microsoft. So, but so that's also interesting too, because as we've discussed, the hospital has recruited me back, so I'll be resuming work for them starting, April 6th.
April 6th.
April 6th.
Are you allowed to go? Well, you work from home.
Well, there you go. See, this is the interesting discussion that we've had, because they said, like, you need to come on site. And I said, well, look, I was, working for you guys up till just like 6 months ago. Do I need to really come back for general orientation again? And they said, oh, no. And then they said, oh, but you need to get all of your immunizations. We've added some, so you need some updates, and you need to do a drug test. It's like, okay, fine. Then it was the day before our governor declared a state of emergency and the lockdown. I said, look, I really don't think it makes sense to have me come on site to, do these drug tests and stuff. And luckily, the manager to whom I'll be reporting and working with up there backed me up on this. And he said, look, we don't need this guy to come on site for this test. He's going to be 100% remote anyway.
Yeah.
And so their occupational medicine, team said, okay, you've got a waiver. Then, like the day after that was approved, they said, oh, but we need new paperwork from you, and you need to come in person to submit this. I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I can submit all the paperwork you want.
Yeah.
Right from here.
It was ridiculous, though. It's because, it just shows those, like, they have these processes which nobody ever stops to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And if these people they have no capability to think outside the box, they're like, no, you have to come on site. I was like, yeah, but you even issued an order saying that nobody but essential staff are even permitted to come on site.
Yeah.
So how do you, so
well,
anyway.
and those kind of things like the drug testing, those can be done at a local, somewhere right where you live.
Except those local places
are closed.
Maybe full of people getting tested for coronavirus. And I don't want to go there. So there you go. No, but
for my drug testing, I'm going to pee from 6 feet away. Okay.
Well, no, I did actually. That was the last thing I did was I did do my drug test remotely at a local lab here. And had the results set up to them, but they wanted me to get updated immunizations and TB tests and things. Yeah. And at that point I said, look, can this wait until I actually have to come on site? And they said, well, if the director of occupational medicine gives a waiver, then yes. And eventually that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow. Oh, so here is an interesting FMLA, the Family Medical Leave Act. Is that okay?
Yep.
So,
we have that here in Massachusetts.
So right now they are changing things related to COVID-19, and so we have to pay attention. We actually have to pay attention to this because right now it used to be, well, FMLA stops at companies with 50 employees or less. So I fall under that. I don't have 50 employees, right. So I don't have, I'm just not as big not that big. So most of those things don't affect me. I mean, my right. users have vacation and sick leave and that kind of thing. Yep. But what they're requiring now, there is no limit on the company size. They get 2 weeks sick leave, period. Mm-hmm. As long as they're a full-time employee.
Okay.
They get sick, and they get 10 weeks at 2/3 pay if they meet the qualifications of not being able to work, not being able to telework, not being able to, if it's a child that can't go to school, them not being able to have anybody else do it. So there are a whole bunch of qualifications that have to happen. And I called my HR person. I said, this is crazy. I said, because my company couldn't handle, I said, we could probably do one person, on 2/3 pay for 10 weeks. And I'm paying another full-time employee. We could probably make that happen.
Yeah.
But if I had 2 people, I'd
Yeah.
be out of business. I'd have to shut the doors so I don't have to. And she said, well, you don't have to worry about that because you don't qualify. I said, you're missing the point. This is not about me. There are businesses my size who are going to have qualified people,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't afford to pay 10 weeks, even at 2/3 pay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just the thing. And they don't think about stuff like that. It's like, they assume that, oh, if you're a business like you and me, then we are both multimillionaires and everyone who's working for us is making minimum wage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the truth of it, folks, if you don't own your own business, especially in the in the early days. Now, okay, if we're talking about Facebook, JP Morgan Chase, and Marriott, yeah, that probably is actually closer to the reality.
Mm-hmm.
But for businesses, for small and micro businesses, that gap between what the owner makes and what the employees makes, it's a lot smaller than what you're thinking.
Yeah. Well, and for years, my employees got paid more than me.
Yeah.
Because
that was before you read Profit First, right?
Yeah. But I mean, there were years. I mean, as I was growing the business, the choice was somebody's got to take less money. I mean, and it just had to be me. Either that or the business.
Not going to have employees.
Yeah. My employees have never missed a paycheck. Well, they may have had one late because I missed a deadline of getting it in on time, but
that's different.
That's different. That was
not that we didn't have the money. It's that I was dumb.
Yeah, I did a dumb thing, but
sorry, I was dumb.
Yep. Sorry.
The classic line from Top Gun. Defense Department regrets to inform you your sons are dead because they were stupid.
Yep, that's it. So I wanted to know how many people are on the internet. And I was like, I wonder if there's a study on that recent. Well, I found one from March 2nd that it was actually just completed March 2nd of this year.
Okay.
And of course it was, what's that?
How many we got?
So this is, like I said, it's very interesting. So world population total is 7.7 billion. The internet users, well, and this was ended in December 2019, is 4.5 billion. So we've got 58% of the population has internet. I did not realize Africa actually has the largest population of internet. No, Asia has the largest population of internet users.
That doesn't sound right.
Asia's got 2.3 billion, and their population is 4.2 billion. So they've got 53%. But there are more African internet users than there are in North America, because in North America includes Canada. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I guess I would not have expected that either.
Yeah, I mean, in percentage of population, the Middle East, well, so penetration, but what's interesting in North America, or how many people use it, 94% of North Americans have internet.
Yeah, I guess I can buy that.
Yeah.
Now that includes Mexico too.
No,
America.
They fall in Latin America and the Caribbean, which is.
Oh, so Mexico's not North America anymore? That's going to make the Mexicans happy.
Is that? Wait a minute. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Yeah. So 368 million people with Mexico, United States, and Canada. But I mean, in Mexico, now what they don't qualify here is what the internet usage is, whether it's a mobile device or a computer, because it doesn't matter. It's just talking about internet. Because in Mexico, everybody has a phone and everybody has internet on their phone.
Right.
And most people don't have computers. They go to the library for the computers.
Yep. If you need a computer for something.
So yeah. So anyway, that was interesting. And then I also wanted to know, what has the Zoom and Ring Central and Microsoft, what has the video conferencing software grown?
Mm-hmm.
And I use Zoom. We're on Zoom right now. That's just what we use. So on Yahoo Finance, which this is about the only thing that Yahoo's good for, is the so when does this article come out? Came out, but they're showing it for March, and the Zoom has grown 66% as of April or February 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So that was almost a month ago.
Yeah.
I would bet that's even higher right
Oh
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy. So like I'm seeing Zoom. This was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. So the yoga studio where I teach and my Krav Maga school are moving to Zoom to teach lessons
Yeah.
because we're not allowed to congregate. I don't know what the restrictions are. When the order first came out in Massachusetts, it was no groups of more than 25 people. Now it's no more than 10.
Yeah.
So obviously, no yoga and businesses are closed, so you can't go to the yoga studio.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is we've gone to Zoom, and I'm going to be teaching my first class via Zoom tonight. Now I've done private, lessons via like FaceTime and stuff one-on-one, but this will be my first group class tonight. So I'll be setting up home, Studio P here. And essentially, but I think it's going to work out pretty well. But what I've been seeing is like across the board, the video and audio quality for Zoom has been lower than normal. Like you and I, you're looking really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you always look good. You're a good looking guy. But that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the video quality has been choppy and stuff. So I don't know. Do you do anything when you're in Zoom? Do you like adjust your settings, or do you just go with the defaults and things just work?
I just go with the defaults and it
Yeah.
just works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was on.
You don't look like you're in HD, but I can see some stubble, and I can see a couple of wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Your own business there.
So sparkles in the hair.
Sparkles, yes. Oh, did you was it enable the zoom effects there, so you have like snowflakes and background?
Yeah. Well, I think my webcam is too poor quality for that, because it's only a 720p
Gotcha.
HD. So
mine's 1.3 megapixel, the one in my display that I'm using here.
Yeah. Well, my MacBook Pro is a good camera, and then my good camera is over there. So, but this one's got it's fine.
It's fine.
But so yesterday I was on a conference call, on a Zoom conference with Robin Robbins, and there were 1,300 people in the conference. And it was extremely glitchy to start. But and what seemed to work better for everybody was when so Robin was trying to call in on the phone and be on video. What she had to do is go straight to audio on the computer, and when did that, then it worked fine. I mean, we do the same thing. For whatever reason, the codecs work with the video and the software, and it works better than if you try to phone call it in.
Yep. Well, some of the I know, like what Zoom, for instance, too, is unless you have the paid version, they got rid of the dial-in capabilities. You have to use internet audio only.
Okay.
But the school, my self-defense school, they emailed and they asked, they like, some people were complaining that the video and the audio is choppy. So can we plug in our laptops via Ethernet? Will that help? And I said, I really don't think so. Because, unless you've got an ancient laptop, the wireless I set up for you is doing like 300 or 400 megabits per second.
Yeah.
So probably thinking that it's in Zoom, given that also every Zoom call until today with this one has been horrible quality. Now, maybe that's a testament to the bandwidth around here, so like what Comcast is able to provide Boston area people. But I'm on FiOS and you're on a fiber service of some sort.
I'm on AT&T.
Yeah.
I've got AT&T gigabit fiber.
So you've got gig and I have 300 megabits. But on top of that, I'm on wireless, and my wireless is not, well, it should be. Conceivably, it's, like 300 meg. But when I do bandwidth tests, I get like 50 megabits per second or so.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming that my audio and video quality is relatively decent. So
yeah, it's pretty good. There are sometimes it's weird, like it'll look like your eye is blinking and it's not.
The question is, like, when I'm holding, like a half moon pose, will it look like my, like feet are fluttering or something? You just flap your wings and levitate.
Yeah.
So to do that, though, in the interest of, better quality, I bought myself a professional grade microphone. Like a little clip-on thingamabobber here.
How you doing there?
Right. So I got this, and my thought was I was hoping to test it for class today, but for this show, but it comes with such a long cable. Like, this thing is huge. The cable, I think, weighs more than the mic itself. So I don't know. This might not actually work out.
I bought a wireless mic here not too long ago either.
What do you got?
It's a Finity or Fifiny.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but my cable's pretty long, but not as long, not bad as yours. But I would say the problem is my box is much bigger. Look how big this thing is.
Yeah. See, I picked one based on a small box, because I didn't want to have to mess with that. So.
But I am also not planning on doing yoga while I'm wearing that.
Right. So. Yours may, that may work out better. So, not so much. Because, I can just see doing that and getting all dropping the cable and getting all tangled and twisted in it. So.
Yeah, and it's got the okay, so I do have the wireless. Okay, well, I hadn't even pulled it out of the box because I bought it to use it and I haven't used it yet. But I think we're going to record some video this weekend.
Well, related to that, whenever I'm teaching classes or when I exercise, as I like using my Apple Watch. And 2 weeks or so ago, I brought my Apple Watch into the Apple Store for repair on the last day that they were opened before they voluntarily shut all their stores except in China.
Yeah.
So then I had to go back and forth with Apple a few times with a couple of different chat sessions and phone calls until finally they said, yes, we'll send you, we can ship it back straight to you. This was after they told me that it had already been shipped back to the store and I wouldn't be able to get it until the store opened again. Got home today. Guess what was waiting on my doorstep?
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch. So I'll be able to have my timer for tonight's class, which ironically I realized after the fact I don't need because it's more of an active flow class than a yin class.
Okay.
But I will be able to go for a run after this podcast and use that for tracking the exercise again. So
yeah, because I did. So I've still got my Fitbit charged too, and I'm going to keep using it till it dies. And it is getting closer to dying because like the face around it shows like stress fractures along it but it still hasn't died. It still just keeps working and it's still holding a charge. So I can't get rid of something that's still good and still working and still relevant. It's not like I'm running a Windows XP watch. It's still getting updates and everything. But I was thinking today, I couldn't track anything. Like I ran today, and I could track the mileage, but I couldn't track my path or any of that stuff.
Right.
That was the only thing that I couldn't track because I didn't want to take my phone with me. And I don't have an arm holster or something to wear while I run, because I don't normally run.
Right. Yep. I do have a runner's belt, but the reason, and it does fit my, iPhone 11, it fits in there. But the reason I got it was so that I can carry 20 ounces of water with me.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks, I've been using it to carry my phone. So I'm kind of curious though, because I've been using what used to be Runtastic and is now the Adidas Run app. I've been using that, and I'm kind of curious to just do that and see how it compares to the Apple Watch, comparing what it estimates, because it's not tracking your heartbeat,
Yeah.
It knows my age and my weight, and it knows how fast I go and how many steps I've taken, and and GPS, stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious to do a side-by-side comparison, because yesterday I did a run. I did 10K. And normally when I run, I usually burn about 100 calories per mile, give or take. And, which normally at my normal pace, around 10 minutes or so. So you can say about 600 calories an hour.
Yeah.
And yesterday I went for just about an hour, and it's like, oh yeah, 800 and some odd calories. And I was just like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think that means what you think it means.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. I ran 2.2 miles today. Well,
Woo-hoo!
And I really could have run longer, but that's all the longer I wanted to run.
If you're going to judge it by how long you want to run.
Well, and I felt pretty good. I probably could have easily run 3 miles, because we run in CrossFit. We just don't typically run like what you're running.
Yeah.
So we'll do,
we'll
end up running a mile or two, but it's in between, 400s and 800s at a time. If we run 4 800s, well, okay, that's 2 miles. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool. All right. What else we got?
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you, what is your community doing to prevent isolation? And,
Now, when you say community, are we talking residential area, or are we talking like my yoga community, for example?
Both.
Okay,
because we've got plenty of communities.
Gotcha. So for me, like yoga wise, we're offering classes online. And also the Yoga Alliance, which we've discussed before on this podcast a few times, the certification body that exists.
Right.
They have been hosting now bi-weekly sanghas, basically conferences, coming together and, having some teachers, and sometimes one of my teachers, a Swami who taught during my 200-hour training, was on the first one. And it's really just, so far the ones I've been on, it's just a bunch of people who practice yoga getting together to kind of, offer some tips, talk shop, check in, see how you're doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, it's been kind of nice. So I have sent out emails to all of my students and told them, for instance, that I've dropped my rates for private online classes. So, it's a steep discount. And, so that's that. But my girlfriend and I, she has this playing card game called Munchkin. I don't know if you've ever seen it. The original was essentially an extremely boiled down, lightweight version of Dungeons and Dragons with playing cards. So, Dungeons and Dragons, if you've never played a complicated
so she's
game.
Nerdy and attractive?
Yeah.
You won the lottery.
Oh yeah, we watched one of the Lord of the Rings movies last night and the night before. And she also liked the John Wick movies, and we're going to start watching Westworld and Picard, and we just finished The Mandalorian.
Nice.
So,
my wife's nerdy, and she's not completely nerdy, but she's pretty well in the other side.
Yeah. But, one thing is, so she had this game called Munchkin, and so it's like I was saying, it essentially boils Dungeons and Dragons down into like 4 steps: kick in the door, kill the monsters, loot the treasure, and level up and win the game. Oh, and you can also like stab your enemies in the back or your friends. And so it's just a fun little playing card game.
Nice.
So the thing I like is that the publishers take into account the in the rules things that people always do, like if you whine enough you might gain extra credit, or you can bribe the game master with pizza and stuff like that. And they say, like, after you have killed a monster, you will wait a reasonable amount of time, which is determined or defined as 2.6 seconds, at which point the monster is dead. And so they have like funny little things like that. So on their website they have rules for playing the card game over the internet. Now, it's not an online game. There's no version of this game that I've been able to find online. But what you do is you have your camera and your friend has their camera, and you just have your cameras positioned so you can see each other's cards.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you just kind of like track things. And they're like, well, what if you have to swap cards or something? And they're like, you'll figure it out. And these are like it's not an official rule, but it's on their official forum, and the moderators made it a sticky post at the top of the forums. Oh, yeah. So they're condoning, just figure it out. It's fine.
Just figure it out. You can do
it.
I
ordered myself a copy of the game today with the intention of loaning that to some friends, because like all my friends seem to know the game, but only one of them has it. So I figured the more people have it, then we can actually play a game over the internet. So I think that'll be fun.
Can you get it on Amazon?
Absolutely. That's where I ordered mine.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you want to order a copy of that, it's a fun game. The trick is my girlfriend and I can't play it ourselves. You need 3 players.
Oh, yeah.
Or more, 3 to 6. So the first time we did it, we played, and her older cat played as well. And we just took turns playing the cat each time. So one time,
did you get the deluxe kit? Is that what you got?
I bought the deluxe kit. She's got the regular one. But
okay.
the nice thing is, other than the expansion, so there's like expansion packs. Those are not standalone games, but there are standalone games. There's like the superhero version. There's a zombies version. There's a Western version. They all are compatible. So you can be playing the Western version, and I can be playing the fantasy version, and my friends up in Vermont could be playing the zombies version, and we can all play the same game.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because if I have a super powerful wizard, you could also have an equally super powerful cowboy.
That's awesome.
Yes. So if you're interested, pick up a copy and let's play a game online, because I think this is how we weather this storm.
We can invite Will Wheaton to play.
There you go. He probably would. He probably would if he's not busy.
If he's not busy and he's not already playing. So
Yep.
I should have it by Sunday.
There you go. Excellent. Excellent. Good.
Cool. Very good. Then
No.
so
Yeah, other than that, I mean, isolation, I'm getting out. I'm doing my regular exercise. I mean, it's 60 and sunny today, so I'm going to go outside, but I'm still socially distant.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't feel that bad. I mean, my girlfriend and I are spending a lot. We spent pretty much every day together during the holidays between Christmas and New Year's and stuff. And, so we've spent extended periods of time together, but it's like, we're like every day now. And so, it's like every now and then it's like, I'm going to be at my house for the afternoon. Like, I'm okay with that. I can use a little bit of alone time, myself. That's fine. But I'm looking forward to seeing her again tonight too. So
yeah,
the cats are keeping me occupied. So
I'm an introvert by nature, so I get re-energized by being away from people. I mean, that's
yeah. Oh, I know how that works.
Yeah. So I've never been alone. I mean, as far as like, I'm by myself, but I'm not lonely. Yeah. I mean, I miss my wife. I like my wife being around. I like my girls. I like being around them. So
you married her for a reason, right?
Yeah, married her for a reason. But I can be by myself, and it doesn't like eat at me or get to me.
Right.
Like I really just got to be around people. But So my neighbors, I live in a pretty big neighborhood. Yeah, it's just a big neighborhood. And so we are just doing our evening walk, and our neighbors had created a ring in one of the driveways, and they said, we're doing 6 at 6. It's a 6 o'clock happy hour with 6-foot distances between everybody sitting in their lawn chairs drinking. And I'm like, that's awesome.
That sounds cool. Sounds cool.
Let's do happy hour.
Yep. I mean, that's the kind of thing we could do here at my place, because I know 2 or 3 of the neighbors here in my condo, they would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Except one of them is in Florida, and the others, I don't know where they are. And I'm at my girlfriend's house all the time. So
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I'd have to put something in the rolling cooler and take it down there, because it's too far. I mean, if you're going to sit there and drink, I can't drive over there.
Right. Well, wait. Sure, it's Tennessee. I hear that the government is like lowering or easing all kinds of restrictions. You sure they didn't?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. You're allowed to drive drunk 300 feet from your house. I mean, come on.
Sure. Well, if you stay on private property and you have 300 feet of land, you are.
Yeah. Well, I'm not down at the farm, but yeah. So yeah. So, and then my CrossFit class, we're kind of doing like what you people are getting together to work out some, and people are also saying what they're doing for their workout in their garage or wherever. Like I've been doing, my Monday through Wednesday, I did yoga because last week I was off and I spent all my time working at the farm. Well, I did all kinds of hard labor. I needed to stretch. I needed to
hard labor.
Yeah. So it was nice to do yoga for 3 days. I was like, I feel almost normal again.
Yep. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is I've been doing yoga again, and with work resuming, at the hospital, was saying like, my extended vacation that I've been on, quote unquote, without that large contract, it's about to come to an end. But I've still been doing. I didn't do any yesterday, but like I said, I ran 10K yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching a yoga class tonight. Oh, that's not true. I took a yoga class last night. I didn't do any the day before.
Okay.
But I'm still doing a yoga class mostly every day and still getting plenty of exercise. So that hasn't really changed. So, being cooped up inside. Luckily, we're not actually ordered to stay cooped up inside.
Yeah.
Go outside. Just keep your distance from.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about the Nifty?
The Nifty. Bad USB. Oh, the attacks.
Yeah.
I didn't even get those. I didn't even get an email notification from you that you had shared the show notes with me today. So I didn't see.
I did it yesterday.
Yeah. I wonder if that went into my spam folder. Have you noticed that recently? No, I don't see it anywhere. That Gmail has been blocking a lot more. Do you have any clients on G Suite?
I do, but a lot of them are being moved to Office 365 at this point.
Right. I've been seeing a lot more false positives in G Suite, blocking stuff. But no, I don't even have an email from you on that.
That's interesting.
So I didn't see the Nifty until just now, literally.
So it's actually not very nifty. It is nifty if you think about it. If you're an attacker. So what they did is they sent a nice envelope from Best Buy. They took Best Buy's logo and coloring and it looks just like a Best Buy gift card that somebody got. And within it was a USB key from Best Buy saying, thank you or whatever. With our compliments. Enjoy. And you take that USB key out, you plug it into your computer, doesn't seem to do anything. But what's happening is it is running a PowerShell. It's actually taking control of your keyboard with a virtual keyboard and then starts typing in PowerShell things to get it going. And then it starts downloading more PowerShell things to it to be able to give them more control and more information, and just end up taking over your whole computer. Now, this isn't new. I mean, this has been happening for a long time, but it's way slicker than it used to be. I actually thought about using that as a marketing campaign of putting it together.
Yeah.
And if they put the USB key in, it pops up and says,
we could have just hacked you.
We just could have hacked you. You need to call us, and you need to let us teach you how to use your computer right. Yeah. So, because that's not illegal to do nothing harmful, but like to actually hack somebody and then say, call me and we'll fix it for you. That's definitely not
where you cross the line.
Right there. That was it, huh?
That was it. That's when you cross the line. Yep.
Yeah. Using real ransomware as a marketing opportunity.
Yes.
That's it, huh?
I have to go with bad idea on that one.
Bad idea. Okay. Well, I'm going to trust you on that one.
Yep. Good idea.
Let's just agree to disagree. I mean,
there you go. Oh, brother, we're terrible. All right. Anything else for today?
No, I think it was a good episode.
I think we should probably put a bow on that. So listener, if you have some feedback, if you've got novel ways of dealing with COVID-19 and seclusion, or if you have any technology questions or problems, and Adam or I are able to help you with that, by all means. Or if you need an online yoga instructor, got you covered there too. You can reach us at blurringthelinespodcast.com. There's a contact form. If you fill it out, the response will get sent to both me and Adam. Assuming G Suite doesn't filter it out, I might get it. And you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Nicolaitis, and Adam is at Sublime Comp. And on that note, Adam, would you like to?
Big red button.
Big red button. You didn't even say push the.
Okay.
To contact either us or our guests, visit blurringthelinespodcast.com. If you like what you're hearing, do us a solid and subscribe to our podcast. And leave us a 5-star review in iTunes, Google Play Store, or wherever you found us.